Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems. It's the 4th of July this week, and last week I had a chance to visit Philadelphia, Boston. What a great place for this time of the year. Saw all kinds of stuff. I saw the Old North Church. I saw Independence Hall. Saw my living room, my kitchen, the front door. You see, security cameras are amazing things. You can be in Boston or Philadelphia or Tahiti and still watch over your home if you've got a good security system. You know who's got good security systems? VFL JJ Surlis and the team at Safety Systems. Folks, you can be away from home and feel very secure because you can keep your eye on your home with a security system from Safety Systems. Get in touch with them this week, safetysystems.com to learn more. All right, let's take a look here. The graphics fairy has done good work again. You can tell the difference between our friend who develops these great graphics for us and the ones that I build quickly in the middle of the night. This is Tennessee's foes inside the conference. The SEC announced these this past week, 23-24 foes. What you got, Kentucky and Vandy will be home and home as usual, but you also have home and home this year with South Carolina and Texas A&M. Everybody else you face once, either at home or on the road, as you can see there. Now, the ACC-SEC inaugural challenge was announced this week, too, and if you look up there in the upper right, you see Tennessee at North Carolina. You also see Arkansas-Duke. Those are kind of the two big-name matchups in this thing. One, the ACC has dropped off, something I never dreamed I would ever see in my lifetime when I was growing up. And two, it's just, Kentucky got paired with Miami. That's just not as sexy as some of those other two. So Tennessee, one of the two sexy matchups from this first year of the challenge, which, of course, replaces the SEC Big 12 challenge. Now, take a look at the non-conference listing so far. That's more like it. That's more like my little quickie graphics. At Wisconsin, Tennessee will play on November 10th. November 20th through the 22nd, they got the Maui Invitational, which is just loaded. You got Chaminade, who hosts it, but Gonzaga, Kansas, Marquette, Purdue, Syracuse, UCLA, Tennessee. That's just fantastic. Great TV to watch. November 29th, you're at North Carolina. December 9th, you got Illinois here at Thompson Bowling. December 16th, NC State, you got them in San Antonio at a Hall of Fame game. Look, I complain about the football scheduling. I do not ever complain about Rick Barnes' basketball scheduling. It's fantastic. It's what fans want. It's what recruits want. I think it's great. But, and I don't think this is necessarily their fault, but the ACC-SEC thing handed them a road game at North Carolina. If North Carolina were in Knoxville, I wouldn't say this. But if I had to pick a nit with this one, and I don't know that it's completely their fault, not a great home schedule in terms of the non-conference stuff. You got Illinois, but you got so many great games. It's just Illinois is the only one at home.
It is a great schedule, but at home, well, you're not at home a lot.
Yeah, I mean, unless I don't anticipate them adding other big names.
It is a wonderful thing to have a big screen, high-definition television because there's going to be a lot of wonderful basketball games. But, yeah, the NC State game could be at home. I mean, I know you go to the neutral court to make money. But that's the only thing that bothers me about it. But I think that at the same time that's a wonderful schedule. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of good basketball teams.
That's legitimate. That is picking nits. That is absolute picking nits. But that's why we're here. Your thoughts? You've got a lot of those on the road. You got Wisconsin on the road. North Carolina. Well, that's that challenge, so you won't have them back. I don't anticipate them adding any more great games that are going to be at home. So you're probably looking at the UNC Asheville's and the Presbyterians and that kind of stuff that's going to fill out your home schedule. Fair to pick that nit or no? Just be happy they've got that great schedule.
It's unfair nitpicking, which doesn't make it too big of a deal. One of the positives of all these games being more of a TV option, assuming you don't travel, like some fans might say, hey, I'm going to Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
Can't wait to do that. That'd be cool.
That's true.
But it's during the fall, so you're still in football mode. You have holidays that are going on that time of year, so maybe it's a little easier for some fans to watch on television as opposed to getting to Thompson Bowling. Illinois is a nice basketball program. You'll get the ACC Challenge back to Knoxville the following year. And the SEC slate has some good games. Like Ole Miss is not typically a big game, and I know what we can say off the court, but Chris Beard coming in there makes that a more interesting opponent. Kentucky, of course, will be coming to Knoxville. So the schedule just as a whole is terrific. Yeah. As good of a basketball schedule as you can come up with. Fans will be highly entertained.
I don't think you're nitpicking. I think you're right. And I think it goes back to a lot of what we see in college football as well. We're seeing that leak over into college basketball as the other revenue sport, in that your quality non-conference games early in the season end up being at neutral sites so that you could maximize revenue. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because for season ticket holders, that stinks. Now, don't get me wrong. The SEC schedule's great. You get Kentucky here, Alabama here, Auburn here. Oh, yeah. Everybody you want, you get here during the SEC time. But I do think maybe this is a trend we're going to see moving forward, which is all those non-conference games that you really have always wanted to see are going to be somewhere else.
Yeah, and even with these challenges that they come up with, and again, let's say Tennessee gets a good game next year. Who is that going to be? Duke coming here? Duke, North Carolina. Who else out of the ACC is going to make their mouths water to come to Knoxville?
Yeah, not too many. No. Like if Steve Forbes is there and Wake's in good shape, that would be exciting. But it's not Duke, North Carolina.
So there aren't a lot there. But even that's going to be 1 year that's at home, 1 year it's away. You're right. It's all the neutral stuff, the tournaments. I wish, one way you could do this is if the NCAA allowed people to do their own tournaments like they did years and years and years ago. Matter of fact, I think, yep, here we go, right behind me on the big wall back here. That is a ticket from the Vol Classic, 1980. Tennessee used to bring in a Michigan or an Illinois and that kind of stuff, and you put a good team. I saw Danny Ainge and BYU play Tennessee in the Vol Classic. If the NCAA would allow schools to start doing those little 4-team tournaments again, like the Kentucky Invitational they used to do, that would be another way to bring people in and get these out of Maui, put them on campuses. But it is a shame that you've got a great schedule. Nothing but applause for Rick Barnes and the way he schedules, man. He has no fear on that front. But it is a shame that your home schedule just isn't the strongest part of it.
Right.
This year, now you're going to have Wisconsin.
And the atmosphere at Thompson Bowling is so fun when it is a big game that's what you miss out on a little bit, is maybe a couple of more of those sprinkled in. But once again, it is the smallest of nits that's being picked here.
Yeah. Overall, kudos to them for scheduling. If only the football program scheduled that well. All right, when we come back, did Rick Barnes instill enough confidence in Julian Phillips to shoot the ball? One of Phillips' former coaches says no. We'll discuss that next.